I think that was 2006. I could be wrong. There were ESPN. You know, the other sports have always had their drafts televised. The NHL hockey draft is televised, for goodness sake. And it's always been, dating back to the 1990s, when I was working with the Astros, a big mystery why none of the networks or even Major League Baseball had any interest in the baseball draft being televised. And so ESPN took the step, I believe it was in 2006, to televise. And it was a real honor to be part of that. My big memory from it was prior to the draft, they collected a list, and they just did the first round, but they collected a list of about 60 players who were, they thought, and they consulted myself on it, they consulted Alan Simpson on it. So we created this database, per se, of about 60 players that they collected video, some of it from Skill Show and other sources, and a bio, so that the talking heads, so to speak, had something to say about the players. And each team, about maybe 30 seconds before they made their pick, before Bud Selig came up and announced that the Cleveland Indians are picking so-and-so, ESPN found out about it so they could get everything lined up. Well, the Minnesota Twins went to pick, and their first round pick that year was a young high school outfielder out of Kentucky named Ben Revere, who nobody thought was going to be a first round draft pick. Nobody knew anything about Ben Revere. And so the producers frantically on the mic saying, "Hey, does anybody know anything about him?" And I said, "I'll take this one," because I had been giving Jerry Ford grief for 2 years that we didn't have Ben Revere ranked high enough. And Ben Revere was one of my favorite players. I'd seen him play many times. He'd really performed well at WWBA events. And so I was able to say, "Hey, I'll take Ben Revere." And I got to talk for basically a minute and a half on Ben Revere because nobody else really had any idea what he was saying. Since then, the draft has continued to be televised. I don't think it's still as big an event as it should be, because in this day and age, with college baseball being huge, with the internet, with the MLB channel, there is so much more knowledge of these players before the draft than there ever has been. It's not like the NFL draft where you have the saturation of college football coverage, but to baseball fans, these names, the Lucas Giolito's and the Mark Appels, they're household names to baseball fans now. And that's, I think Perfect Game has had a lot to do with that. The society we live in has had a lot to do with it. But, I look for more and more involvement, with the draft, as we move on.